My name is Brandon Cahill. I'm doing a speech about when technology fails and the use of magnesium and fire starting in human history. First off, with me I have Jaden, Jordan, Peyton, Jeff, Diane, Allison, Dylan, and some dogs. So like I said, when technology fails, I do have a visual aid. It is a little bit blurry in the picture, so I apologize for that. So fire, the first controlled use was recorded about 790,000 years ago. That's when it wasn't running rampant through with forest fires and that kind of thing. Fire was controlled and used in sanitization, warmth, light, cooking, and those kind of things. So it essentially gives life, and it is very, very vital for human nature. It also takes away life, as many know, but we're not focusing on that aspect today. So the matches were the first part that came about in the mid-1800s. That was the first way to start fire. Lighters soon followed, and then electricity was last, and that's what we rely on now. So what I want to focus on in this speech is to get the audience to move away from depending on electricity to live. And the first way of doing that is with fire, because it is so essential, as I explained before. We need it for water, food, light, warmth, and those all go into a place or a shelter to live in, and food and water. So I want to go through a couple of the disasters of the world that were a little bit impacted by technology. First off was the Black Tuesday crash of 1929, which was the ridiculous stock market crash that left many people just devastated, all their money gone. Right now, that's definitely a possibility, and everybody knows that because we have had some really huge scares in the stock market recently in the early 2000s, and technology is just, as we've learned, it's not extremely dependable. So, also the Cold War, and going along with that, nuclear warfare. When weapon advancement has got even bigger recently in bigger countries and in our country here, we start leaning on warfare that can potentially destroy everything, including electricity and everything that we live with now, so our life would never be the same, which would be really difficult, and I don't think a lot of people would know how to live without the stuff that we have around us right now. Finally, Y2K, which never happened, but I think that was also one of the hugest points in the recent 15 or so years, where there was a huge technology scare about whether we could actually pull through or not. So my main point is that when lights go out, flint is the spark that will help us, and it is essential to know how, and it is essential to turn away from electronics. I am extremely credible on this subject, as I have taken many camping trips to Colorado without the use of any packed food, water, anything like that. I relied on flint alone with my family, and it was a real eye-opener, and I was able to survive. And without any of this, I mean, people have done it before, so I think when our world is getting more and more unstable, we need to find something that's stable, and flint and magnesium is the thing that can push us towards that. So I just want all of us to have a good knowledge of the future, and we need to know how to depend on ourselves and the resources that we have. First, when starting a fire with magnesium, you need to gather resources and dry sticks into a small bundle. And that is going to be the bed for the fire. So you're going to need to grab anything that's around you, such as leaves or anything dry, just so the fire won't die out really fast. Next, you're going to take the magnesium and scrape it for about 30 seconds into a pile that's about a nickel size. Finally, you're going to turn the flint or the magnesium piece over and strike it with a knife that usually comes with it. And that will start fire with this little thing. So it's super cool, and like I said, you could cook food and sanitize it. You also sanitize water. It can give you a place to see, and it can keep you warm. So it is super essential to know how to do this. And then you also just add some more resources to make the fire grow. It's as extremely practical and cost effective. Instead of using stoves and spending a ton of money on relying on everything, including our money, and putting it all into our electronics now, we're using this to survive. So we save a ton of money. It's very practical. We also can't predict the future. That goes along with a major struggle right now, including zombies, which is a very real scenario. If there is a zombie apocalypse coming up soon, there could be a lot of devastation with people running through houses, and we don't know what could happen if all of our resources and computers get smashed by ourselves. So we must know through all of this not to rely on electricity. And finally, I just want to say that in a world that is never promised, we need to have a backup plan. So, summing it all up, we cannot rely on ourselves or any of our resources that we have built up. We must find something that is practical and that we can carry around with us at all times, that we can use to survive, and it is extremely essential. So, that's that. Thanks for listening. I'm Brandon, and this was my audience.